What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to more C4. Jalen Hurts just took a final knee, and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win their sixth in a row, 26-18 over the Washington Commanders in a game that, it looks like a one-score game, but ultimately Commanders got 8 points with like 30 seconds left on the clock. Philly left 7 points off the board on missed Jake Elliott kicks, 2 field goals. I feel like anytime a kicker misses a 50-yarder, they get one of those every now and again, but like Jake Elliott's kind of cold right now. Missed a 44-yarder, missed a field goal to give us 13 points instead of 12, which would give us a field goal advantage over the Commanders. It was a brutal miss. I think Jake's probably built up enough credit that, all right, we can see it through this. You could probably still even have 1 or 2 more games, especially when you look at Baltimore. Justin Tucker's having a down year. Falcons kicker was one of the best kickers, most consistent kickers. He's having a down year. You just watched the Niners on the weekend. Their kicker they drafted in the 3rd round missed 3 kicks. So I don't know what's going on with kickers right now, but I feel like Jake Elliott has earned enough. I see people overreacting, cut the kicker, bring in kickers next week for practice. I think we're good. We're not at that point yet, but definitely cause for concern. But ultimately, in this matchup, looks way closer than what it was. There are levels to this. The Commanders, I didn't want to shit talk too much on social media because there is a side of me. It's divisional rivalry aside, let's let the Commanders kind of enjoy this. They have never really had a good team over the last 15 years. They're kind of good right now. There's a soft spot. All right, you can have this moment. I'm not going to try to bring you down. But the reality is, Commanders are very similar to the 10-1 Eagles last year. Where it's they haven't really, good record, but have they really beaten anybody yet? They played Pittsburgh, which was a tough game, lost. Played Philly for first place in the NFC East. They looked terrible. Jaden Daniels was not good tonight. For Mr. Frontrunner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, in the discussion, let's not discredit what Brock Bowers is doing for the Vegas Raiders, but it is a quarterback-heavy award. He looked terrible. Jaden Daniels looked incredibly uncomfortable. The pressure was always there. He was rushing throws, and when he wasn't rushing throws, he was taking too long to throw the football. Vic Fangio and the Philadelphia Eagles defense was outstanding here today. It was frustrating, but hey, if anyone was going to get a garbage time touchdown and then 2-point conversion, shout out Zach Ertz. Who knows if that is going to be the last time he's out there in front of a packed Link. Well, it was garbage time, so half-packed Link. But that was cool. If someone's going to get a tutty, let it be Zach Ertz. The defense was incredible. Made Jaden Daniels look like a rookie quarterback that was struggling. Couple maybe brain farts in the run game. Felt like Brian Robinson might have had a run or two. 18-yarder. That was a couple missed tackles. Austin Eckler was a complete pain in the ass in the pass game with the checkdowns. Willie Rish, they would have sniffed that out earlier. He was leading 8 catches, 89 yards. I thought we could have done a little bit better job there. But, add another to Quinyon Mitchell's ridiculously good rookie season. On Scary Terry, 1 catch, 10 yards, and he got that when he went to the other side of the field on Cooper DeJean. Quinyon Mitchell, I get it. Much like, for example, Offensive Rookie of the Year, if it's 2 good players, they're probably going to go quarterback. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think right now it is head and shoulders a 2-horse race. It's Jared Verse of the LA Rams and Quinyon. You could probably even throw Cooper DeJean as number 3 if you're trying to put all these guys out. I think the Packers have a really good safety right now as well. But ultimately, you have Jared Verse who's starting to get some sacks. Sacks are a casual, casuals are going to look at that and go, oh, that's pretty good. But I also know his pressures are up there too. But with the same respect to that, Quinyon Mitchell has literally shut down. What was the tweet here? We know he shut down CeeDee Lamb last week. Quarterback play, sure, it is what it is. But he's still going up against CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, Scary Terry had 0 yards on him. Jamar Chase had a very quiet game. Let's see what we got here. We got Drake London had 1 catch for 5 yards. Chris Olave, 2 catches, 23 yards. Mike Evans, 2 catches, 19 yards. Amari Cooper, 1 catch, 10 yards. Malik Neighbors, 1 catch, 9 yards. Jamar Chase, 2 catches, 19 yards on Quinyon. It's Revis Island. He is having a Revis Island rookie type season. He is shutting down. He's doing better. I don't know if this is gonna be great English. Let's be honest. Salads have been consumed. He's having a better corner season than Jarrett versus having a pass rush season. But sacks, and Quinion does have a couple drop picks, no picks on the stat sheet yet. It's going to be one of those deals where, you know what, if he doesn't get the award at the end of the day, we know we have literally an elite play. He's elite. He is eliminating and deleting some of the best wide receivers in the league. Now, we saw something similar to Jalen Carter last year. Jalen Carter hit that rookie wall. I don't even want to put that into existence because if the rookie wall does exist, we have Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell playing outstanding football. And I'm not even going to think that could happen. But Quinion Mitchell, absolutely incredible. Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought the guy out of Toledo, best corner in the class. And then we got the second best one in the second round. Defense being very good. The defense being elite in this 6-0 stretch absolutely correlates with Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and how well they're playing. Zach Baun and Nakobe Dean, they've elevated their game. The D-line is dominating games. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's not missing tackles and getting interceptions or getting close to interceptions. Almost had another one on Zach Ertz here today. Philly is on fire. I think we are, all due respect to Detroit, I'm going to biasly say, I think we are the best team in the NFC right now. We get to continue to prove it. Looking at some grades here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts went 18 of 28, 221. Had 39 yards and a rushing touchdown, a tush push. Terrible first half for Jalen Hurts. Got smashed on like a stupid gadget trick play. You only can assume Nick Sirianni called that one. Knocked his noggin a little bit. And then he got slammed in the ground on an incomplete pass. Had to go in under the hood. I don't know if that was rattled him a little bit. Definitely something. He got smashed. That's like one of those ones like, usually you could probably see that one out with some smelling salts. But maybe he was off from that. It was very similar to the Cowboys game. Cowboys, at least we could blame it on just the sun being there and Jerry Jones being an absolute idiot with stadium design. But very similar slow start. But then the second half, Jalen Hurts got hot, was efficient, seen his receivers, and scrambling. When he had a huge first down conversion on a run. We had almost stepped out of bounds on the sideline, extended for the first down. Like, he was awesome. Jalen Hurts was awesome in the second half. And maybe not, he is creeping into MVP discussion, and maybe this is not a game that you're going to slam on, the pound the table for Jalen Hurts for MVP reel. But I think this is like one of those ones, right? Like, what are the tendencies of a good quarterback? You want to put up big-time numbers, right? You want to light the league up. Yeah, and Jalen Hurts has been able to do that. Last couple of weeks, he's been 3, 4, 5 touchdowns every single week. You want to be able to elevate players around you. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is ever going to necessarily be that guy. I don't think he's ever going to hurt the players around him, but we have so much talent, it's going to be pretty hard for Jalen Hurts to elevate A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley. The last one is like, all right, so you put up big stats, you elevate those around you, the leadership, all those intangibles, but there's also that little bit of like we see with Patrick Mahomes, right? And we haven't really seen that out of Lamar Jackson, out of Joe Burrow, out of Josh Allen. Oh no, here we go. They're going to win the game. The quarterback got hot. He's going to will his team to victory. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is probably the only quarterback that consistently does that. And I think that is what we saw to Jalen Hurts here in the second half. Commanders, even though I think they're overrated from the record, still a good team. They're probably going to be a wild card team this year, unless the wheels completely fall off. And in this game that felt like a playoff game, it literally just felt like Jalen Hurts is like, we're not losing this game in the second half. Right? Helps that we had a couple big runs by Saquon Barkley. Helps that the Commanders' defense is not that good. They played a great first half. Mike Samerstill is so much better than Emmanuel Forbes. But they are very clearly a defense that's playing above their level. And you could start hot. You could start a game and be that overachieving defense. But in the second half, when everyone starts getting tired, it wears off. And the way that Philadelphia just continued to smash the football into that defensive line, they were gassed. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts closed out that game. And I thought that was a huge game from Jalen Hurts. So it might not look like, a gigantic game if you're box score watching for Jalen Hurts, but I think this is as good as any other performance he's had all year, be it, a 4 or 5 touchdown performance, because he simply was like, we're going to win this game in the second half. So for a grade for Jalen Hurts, first half was dog shit. So wide receivers weren't helping him. Mekhi Becton had a little bit of a stinker. But I'll give Jalen Hurts B+. Definitely a B+ type performance. Run game, Saquon Barkley, A+. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry single-handedly like rejuvenating the running back position this year is awesome. As a former running back myself, it's been a position that's been outright disrespected. You see some of these contracts that are getting handed out. You see some of these players that just aren't even getting contract offers. Saquon Barkley leaving the Giants, and then they're literally being, Saquon and Derrick Henry are probably 1 and 2 for Offensive Player of the Year this year. Sick. Saquon is incredible. I got to get that. I think that's my dream. I need to get a Jason Kelsey. But I might have to, just for the activeness, might have to get that Saquon jersey next. But this way, I'm getting like my kids' Saquon Barkley jerseys next. That is how much I'm in on Saquon Barkley. That is how much it's just like he's clearly freaking awesome. Thank God he's no longer wasting his talent away in New York. And it puts superstar talent on bad teams into perspective, right? Because if Saquon did re-sign with the Giants again, where would he be this season? None of these things that have happened this year that have been, honestly, almost iconic moments for Saquon Barkley would not have happened. And then thankfully he went to a good team. Thankfully he went for a team with a great offensive line, great run scheme, and is able to thrive in this environment. But then, you look at the Myles Garretts, the Max Crosbys, everybody, et cetera, et cetera. Those are just the big two because we're talking about them at the trade deadline. But you just see these superstars, man. It's like, imagine if they were on a good team, how much cooler shit they'd be able to do. So happy that we get to see that with Saquon. Kenny Gainwell came in and had like 30 yards on like 3 straight runs. It was ridiculous. That was one of my favorite draft picks when we brought him in mid-round a couple years ago. And, it is frustrating sometimes. You're like, why is Kenny Gainwell in there when you have Saquon riding the hot hand? But like Kenny Gainwell is a great complimentary running back and definitely feels like that bot. I don't want to say he's better than Boston Scott, the giant killer, with all due respect, but you could probably make the argument like a little bit more upside. We upgraded overall at RB2 and RB1 for the team this season from what we had a year ago. So overall, run game gets an A+, Saquon Barkley, A+. Game ball going to Saquon Barkley. For the receivers, quiet game. A.J. Brown cost my parlay. I had Jalen Hurts touchdown, Saquon Barkley touchdown, A.J. Brown over, I think it was 81.5 yards. Oh, it's a little bit annoying, but it was only $10, and I'd gladly pay $10 for Philadelphia to win this game. AJ, just wasn't a lot of plays, a couple of miscommunications, probably a couple that, AJ was open and Jalen Hurts missed him in the first half. Dallas Goedert had a big catch, but a big wide open catch and then fumbled it. Very reminiscent of when Quez Watkins caught the wide open ball a couple years ago and then stood up and fumbled it in one of the worst regular season losses, especially in the context of the NFC East battles a couple years ago. It was like eerily similar, but luckily I think Calcaterra was able to fall on it, recover it. Quiet game from Devon. It was just a weird passing game. I felt like as much as Jahan Dotson, I think it's good for Jahan Dotson to get more targets in this offense and to continue to get more involved and continue to earn Jalen Hurts' trust. It just felt like, I don't know. Like I'm surprised. I feel like fucking Anaya Smith had a target on that the opening struggle drives. But it didn't feel like they were just trying to get the ball to Jahan Dotson. And it's like, you get the ball to Jahan Dotson like when we're dominating, when we're up big, right? Like, let's force the ball and try to go to rhythm with A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith. And it felt like for those first couple drives, that just wasn't the case. So overall, the receivers, not a great performance. Couple drops, costly fumble by Dallas Goedert, which luckily didn't cost us. So yeah, I'd probably say a C grade for the wide receivers. A rare, not great game for them. Luckily for me personally, fantasy football, I only got Saquon and Jalen Hurts, so we good. Special teams, that needs to be talked about. We'll just go to that next. I said at the top, I think Jake Elliott has earned enough credit, has banked enough credit for us not to be calling for his head quite yet. But there is cause for concern. Honestly, you feel like, maybe I'm just crazy, but like all the questionable fourth down, should you just take the points? Do you think like that mentally has something to play with this, where it's like constantly like, all right, we're going to kick the field goal. Clearly we're going to kick the field goal. And they go, no, like that has to do something for your confidence. Regardless if you're buying into like, this is an aggressive scheme. And like, yeah, let's go offense. This is what we do. There's still an element of like 95% of teams would be letting me kick and letting me do my job. And Nick Sirianni has like nipped opportunities for Jake Elliott enough that, I don't know, I feel like maybe you're reaching for an excuse right there for Elliott. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But I think ultimately for Jake Elliott, he's banked enough credit. Let's see. Let's see if he can get another week or two before we start bringing in kicker tryouts. Defense, A+. Can we please re-sign Zach Baun. I said at the trade deadline, people were like, can we make a trade? Are we going to get an edge rusher? I said all along I would much rather a contract extension for Zach Baun than like a needless lateral trade to make a trade Howie season type thing. I mean, the price is going up. Like, you look at what some of the top off-ball linebackers got, not crazy money. It's not a gigantically valued position. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a hometown schematic discount with a Zach Baun, but the price is only going up. And, like, you're seeing around the league, like, they're trickling in. Contract extensions every week. There's, like, one or two that's like, oh, that's good business. Oh, yeah, they're getting ahead of that. I don't know what the future money looks like for Philadelphia right now, but, like, we are playing a risky game. I'm in. There is no way Zach Baun's just hot right now. Like, that is a player that has reinvented himself, found his natural position, is thriving with his teammates around him that are locked in long term. This is a defense that is going to be together as a group for quite a long time. Like, you look at it right now, Sweat's in a contract year. BG's got to retire. Milton, maybe, like rotation, but like everyone else coming back. So it's going to be, I don't know. I think Howie got burned when we paid Nigel Bradham. Howie I would say it's fair to say, got burned by what you could call the TJ Edwards contract negotiations, because I think probably should have not let him leave the building. I would hate for that somewhat mistake, because Zach Baun is playing outstanding football. Constantly, what is that? 15 tackles, a TFL, a PBU. One of those was on fourth down to stop Jaden Daniels getting a first down, like just turnover on downs. He's been elite. Like, I think he's the highest graded linebacker in the NFL right now. Like, he literally is technically, by almost every measurable stat and performance indicator, the best linebacker in the NFL, ahead of Fred Warner, ahead of Roquan Smith. Pay the man, please pay him. Jalen Carter was unstoppable. Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean, the exciting whites were great today. Nolan Smith with a big-time sack. Love seeing his confidence. Josh Sweat's playing outstanding football. BG, every night. Like, look, it's like literally every time Brandon Graham makes a play, it's like a TFL. It's something going behind the line of scrimmage. As I stated, Quinyon Mitchell is playing corner as good as any player in the NFL right now. A+, man. This defense is an absolute problem. If this is the new norm, if this is not just the defense got hot, they got momentum, but there's a chance that they can kind of regress down a little bit, regress to the mean, regress to what we saw during the 2-2 start. That's going to suck. But if this is the new defense, if Vic Fangio during that bye week figured it out, we can run this. You could ride this defense to a long playoff run. You could ride this defense to a Super Bowl. That is how good they are playing right now. So an awesome game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Big time win. Wouldn't worry about it, Commanders. You're clearly the second best team in the division. Still think you are wild card worthy, but there's levels to this. You guys have not beat anybody yet. You look at our team, too, man. We're a better roster. You guys are like early in your rebuild. You're overachieving in your rebuild, and I think you should feel very happy about the future of your team. Like, imagine when you're not relying on old-ass Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz to make plays. Imagine you get another draft to keep putting weapons around. It's looking good, but Philly's a different beast. We are higher up on the food chain, and I think we proved it here today. So let me know what you guys think. Who's getting your game ball? What do you think? What's your take on Jake Elliott? And that'll do it for me today, guys. I'll see you back here next week for the Eagles reaction. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's your boy C4. Say peace out. Love ya. Have a good one. Go Birds.